value of 6. But we don't print anything at this point because this belongs to the caller. So then we go from line 7 to line 9, which basically says these columns are now gone, and then we return to line 11 and execute the statement print 6. So here in the comments column we say 6 is now printed, and then we have nothing else to do, post. So are there any questions about this question? I think this is probably the easiest of all the questions once you know how to keep track of the return statement. Yes? No? Kind of? Okay.
So easy compared to the pre and post conditions.
Well, the pre and post conditions are difficult because I'm asking you guys to use, like rigid reasoning to explain the answer. I think intuitively you guys can figure out what the answer is already, but to use a formal technique to do it is a little bit more difficult. But why do we want to use a more formal technique and just not, by intuition?
So you can explain to it.
Go ahead.
You can apply it to everything.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to guess.
Yep, exactly. Once you know the formal technique, then you look at the pattern. If the problem fits this pattern, you apply that solution. Okay, so it doesn't. So once you know the rule, once you know the technique, then it doesn't rely on intuition anymore, and that makes the solution much more general than just eyeballing and say, okay, I know intuitively it is like this. Okay, very good. So we are officially done with both practice exams except for that one long trace that we have in the other one. Are there any questions before we go back to that one? Do you guys want to go back to that one?
We've done it before, right? Stuff we've done before, right?
It's basically stuff that we have done before. Let me just show you what it looks like first, and then you guys can decide whether you want to do it. We do have the time. I mean, we have an hour left, and my recorder has probably a few hundred, at least 100 hours left. The battery probably still has about 2 hours left.
You can watch more soccer games.
Sorry?
You can watch those soccer games.
We watch what?
Robot soccer games.
Robot soccer games? That's not very educational. It's entertaining. If anything, we can try something. Okay, how many people want to go back to the previous test and just finish that long trace thing?
Let's take a look at it.
Okay, we'll just go ahead and do that then. Since I don't think it hurt. Okay, I don't think going back and looking at that one will hurt in any way.
It's gonna hurt my feelings.
It's okay. I don't teach classes to make people feel happy anyway. So. Is it this one? Is it BBB?
No,
I never saved it. Oh, okay. I have to copy and paste it. Right.
That's why it hurts.
Oh, it's easy. That's not too hard. Copy and paste works pretty good. Copy, go to the spreadsheet, paste, and then we have to reformat stuff. So we just get rid of that column, make this one longer. Optimal height, change the indentation. Can you guys see how important indentation is?
Yeah.
Oh, did I copy and paste everything? Nope. I copied and pasted the entire subroutine, but not the invocation. That makes the trace kind of pointless, because the trace is just empty. It's not going to be. There's nothing to do. All right, so we do the indentation things. That and. indent that, we indent that. This is the ugly part, okay? The invocation of Atom twice on the same line. But it's not like, we haven't seen it before. It's just, something that we have done already, and we're just redoing it a few times to make sure that we know how to deal with it. So change the font back to the default one. Where's the default font? Almost better. Even better. All right. So we'll work with this particular subroutine, and it looks like it doesn't really do anything useful, but it actually does. Okay, and I can explain what it actually is, after the fact. And this one, the trace is going to look really ugly, especially when I have only this much screen space to play with. Let's go ahead and make sure we save it first. How shall we call this? Atom. This time it's named after cars. It's the Ariel atom. Ariel. Okay, trace right here. Yeah. Go. All right. So the longest condition we have to evaluate is x equals 1 or x equals v. So that's not too long. I think this much space should be sufficient. We can change it later. So we got comments, we got line number, and we don't have any global variables. So the precondition really has nothing to say because we don't have any global variables to say anything about. Start on line 16. We have return info in this case, and it would be print question mark because we replaced the invocation with a single question mark. And then we have the parameters h, v to pass, but we also have a local variable r for each invocation. H starts with 2, v starts with 4, and that's how we set up the first invocation.
So you guys say what line to return to? The return line?
Oh, right, the line number. Line 16, there we go. There we go, okay. So then we move into the subroutine, and the subroutine really doesn't do anything very exciting. On line 5, we evaluate v equals 1 is false, okay, because v equals 4 at this point, so v equals 1 is false. So we move on to the else portion, and on line 8, we have that's our next line to execute. This one has a longer condition. X equals 1 is false, so we have to evaluate the second one. X equals v is also false, so we have to say that both of these is false, so the result is false. That's a disjunction. So we move on to the else portion, which is on line 11. So we have to invoke the subroutine again. Okay, but this time it is a little bit tricky because in this return info, which I'll probably have to set up to wrap around because otherwise it will get too long and things will get difficult to read. So we say wrap text automatically.